Okay, welcome everybody back to week 9 of BUAD 200 Digital Marketing. This week we are going to look at email marketing, which is from chapter 8 of the Stu Kent book, so make sure you have a read of that. Just a quick apology for some of the delays of getting some of this content up. I've had to take over one of the courses from one of the other professors at Okanagan College who's fallen sick. So I've just been a bit swamped picking up a class that I haven't taught before. So bear with me while I get all of this information out as quickly as possible. But let's dive into email marketing. Just having a look at our schedule at the moment. So we can see there we are in week 9. Which is email marketing. This week we're looking at chapter 8, which should be quiz 8 here. That's a mistake there. But we are doing simulation round 2, so make sure you are on top of that. I'm going to do a video next week going over some of the tips and tricks for simulation. So we'll have a look at that next week. A couple of the objectives we've got here, guys, talking about building commercial email lists, so how we do that, effective content for email campaigns, analyzing the results from email campaigns, so looking at different KPIs, and then identifying practices for preventing emails from being flagged by spam filters, because obviously we don't want our emails going straight to spam. Okay, so a couple of questions to think about while we're thinking about email marketing. Potentially, how many emails do you get per day? It's obviously going to vary depending on how many different email lists you're subscribed to, what type of websites you're going to, where you're putting your email. You're probably the least of the emails that are coming to you are coming from friends and family. Lots of marketing is done through email. So it would be interesting to see how many emails people are getting per day. When we're thinking about maybe 5 to 10, that might be an average. But some people might be getting a lot more and are still subscribed to lists that they don't even look at. Then we're thinking about how many do we actually read. Obviously important for an email marketing campaign because if people are getting emails but not reading them, that is going to mean that your email campaign doesn't work very well. We're not going to get people to convert from that. We just mentioned there how many people are signing up for email subscriber lists. Do you put it in to get different information? Guys, we can use all types of different ways to get people's email. The value of those emails can be quite high because email marketing has a pretty high return on investment. When you've got those emails coming to you, how often do you unsubscribe to them? So we call that a churn rate, guys. So people are actually unsubscribing. That's a good indicator of how well we actually structure our emails. So if we've got good emails that are interesting and people want to see them, then they're going to keep subscribed to them. If they don't like them, they're coming in too frequently, they look like spam, people are going to unsubscribe. So that churn rate's going to be higher. That means that we're not doing a very good job with our actual marketing in the emails. And then what about the best time of the week to send an email? Let's have a look at that. What do we think might be the best time of week? The day and time of day to actually send an email. Okay, so just defining email marketing. It's obviously a form of direct marketing, so we're going straight to the source. We're delivering commercial messages. It's obviously one of the oldest. Email obviously goes back to the beginnings of the internet, but also very, very powerful. It's very cost effective because we're not doing mass communication. We're sending emails directly to people. And generally it's relatively cheap to send a blast email out there, but it is highly targeted. So, we're sending it to potentially to people who we know might be converting on our emails. So highly targeted. It's really customizable on a mass scale, and we can measure everything with it, right? So we can see who's clicked on the email or who's opened the email, who's clicked on links in the email, who's read the email, who's clicked through to our site. So there's lots of different metrics that we can get that can tell us whether our emails are effective or not. Couple of key stats here, guys. These probably need to be updated for 2026, but this is as of last year. Obviously, emails sent and received globally has increased since 2017. So emails not slowing down, even in the face of social media messaging apps, general messaging apps, text message, all of the other different ways that people can communicate. People are still going via email. So it has increased and continues to increase. So it's still a really valuable channel for us to target. In 2023, there were estimated 347.3 billion emails sent and received around the world daily. So you can see what big business it is. Huge amount of emails being sent. That's going to increase to almost 400 billion by 2025. So we've probably surpassed that already, guys. We're probably even higher than that now. It still has the highest or one of the highest return on investment activities in digital marketing. So compared to things like display ads or text marketing or any of the things that we've been looking at, email marketing is still one of the best ways to get your message to people. And this is one thing we have to think about, guys. When we are sending out our emails, how many actual conversions are we getting from that? What is the actual amount of, let's say we're talking about e-commerce, for example. How many sales are we getting from our actual emails that we're sending out? We have to figure out what the value of our emails are, because that's obviously a key stat for us to figure out, right? In some industries, an email might be worth around $5. So every email you have is going to equate to $5 in sales. If we look across the board, it could be an average of $33 in sales. So that's something that is dependent on the industry and the company and the strength of your email strategy. But figuring out what an email is worth kind of gives us a value on how much we want to allocate to actually putting resources into using email marketing strategies. Okay, moving on. Let's look at the different types of emails. So just a quick question here. What type of the different emails can we send out to people? When we're thinking about, all of the different ways that people send information through email, what are some of the different types of emails? Like, would you get a welcome email? Would you get an email if you made a purchase? Would you get an email if you were using customer support or customer service? So there's lots of different types here, guys. We can break them down into a couple of different categories. Firstly, onboarding emails. So welcome email, informational email about your new subscription or your new account, something that gives you the next steps, something that's inviting you to follow people on social media, or potentially even upselling you to something else. We can get newsletters, more regular ones for companies where we're getting updates, news, product launches, things like that. We could get promotional emails, obviously when people are having sales, flash sales, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Boxing Day, all of the different types of promos that companies might send out. Transactional emails. So if we make a purchase, we want to be able to get all the information about that purchase, when we purchase, what we purchased, how much we spent, the shipping, all of those types of pieces of information. And then one that's really important in terms of an automated email is a triggered email. So guys, this is an automated email that's going to be sent out when something gets triggered. For example, an abandoned cart email. So this is really, really valuable in the e-commerce space. So if people are on your website and they put something into their cart and then they leave the website, they don't finish the purchase, we know that they had some kind of intent to buy. They were looking at that product. They thought, oh, this might be a good product. They went to purchase it, and then something happened that stopped them from purchasing it. Right? If they get to that stage where they're actually putting something in a cart, we have the idea that they're in market. They want to actually purchase something like this. So when we see that happen, we can actually track that using our cookies, and we can see who's abandoned their cart. And then most e-commerce sites, guys, will have a setting that will basically send an abandoned cart email out to people, and you can set it up with different settings. Best practice is after 12 hours, then another one maybe after 48 hours, just saying, hey, we saw that you were wanting to purchase this product. Did you want to still purchase it? We can give you a 10% discount on it, for example, or then after 48 hours, you can increase your discount. So, you want to try and get people back if they're already showing interest in those products. If they purchase something from the store, we could send them an email as well, just to say thank you. Here's some after service information about it. Or if they've made a purchase in the past, we can, send them information on new products and things like that. So lots of different types of emails here, guys. Here are a couple of examples. We can see a Stu Kent Crisis Communication Courseware update. Basically an informational email here, guys. Just giving an update on what's happening. We've got a welcome email here, basically talking about the certification, signing up for this course at Chipmunk. We've got this is a transactional email just talking about the delivery for this email, and we've got some tracking here as well. What else have we got here? We've got a promo email here from Mr. Price Sport. So just showing a sale on sports equipment. And this one here from Grays. We noticed that you previously visited us at grays.com, but haven't yet tried one of our handpicked snack boxes. So this is a triggered email, somebody going to the website, and then that's been tracked. And because they've collected their email somehow, they're now sending a targeted email back to them. Okay, let's have a look at spam here, guys, because every country has different rules for spam, including Canada. So what do we think you're not allowed to do in terms of sending spam? What's going to be picked up? What's going to be considered illegal in terms of spam emails? Just quickly think about that as we jump into the information for it. Guys, the Canadian anti-spam legislation says that it must be permission-based. So people must give their permission to send you emails. So that means that little box that when you put your email into somewhere, it says subscribe to this email or I consent to have emails sent to me. People must give their permission by clicking that box, right? So you must get people's permission to send them emails. If you don't, it would be viewed as spam. They're opt-in, opt-out options, guys. So being able to subscribe or unsubscribe to those emails or get the emails or not get the emails. And then when you actually send the email, you've got to have an unsubscribe button there as well. So you've got to give the people an option if they don't want it anymore that they can get rid of it. And of course, guys, you need this branding. You need to have your company information on your email so people know who they're dealing with. Okay, let's just change tack here and think about what the strategy for sending out emails might be. So, guys, when we're talking about strategy in general, I think there's a few steps from, every different type of campaign, whether it be a search ad campaign, SEO, text message, any of these different campaigns, there's a few things that are pretty standard across the board. For email, the big thing is that we need to figure out who we're actually sending it to. So we need to capture these emails. Things like having pop-ups on a website, on our own website, for example, that get people to put their information in. There's a number of different ways we can do this. You could give them a discount to do this. You could give them a free download. You could give them product updates, anything like that, guys, to get that email. That's really, really important. Once we've got that email, then we have the ability to target people. Uh, could be through customer service, could be through a contact page, could be through in person, so giving your email in the store. So all of these different things, guys, help us actually target people in the future. Then we're looking to design our campaigns. So what are we actually coming up with in terms of the content? The purpose first, who we're sending it to, what do we want to achieve here? So what will be our key performance indicators? Are we going to send out multiple versions of the same campaign so that we can test one against the other? We're also thinking about how often we're going to send things. And then we're getting to our content creation. So what are we actually thinking for brand essence? What are our guidelines for the brand? Our subject line, our visual imagery, are we using an image or a video in there? What's our copy going to be? What links are we going to have in there? If we're doing a promotion, are we going to have a link to the product, for example, and putting in that unsubscribe button as well? Next up, guys, is our delivery. So how are we actually delivering it? What time of the day and what day? Once we've delivered that email, then we need to figure out the data from that. So we've sent the email out now. We need to track all that information and figure out what's happening with it. So what are our KPIs? Just coming back to campaign design here, we figured out what we think would be important to judge the success of our campaign. So now we're assessing it, we're collating that information, we're interpreting it, extrapolating it. So looking at smaller pieces of information and extrapolating that to a wider audience. And then finally, guys, we're optimizing our campaigns for the future. So if we've got A/B testing and maybe our A test doesn't work very well, we're going to take that one out and just use our B test. We're optimizing our content for whichever one worked best out of those tests. And then we are essentially going through the whole process again. Okay. So just looking at our customer journey, guys, we've looked at this before, but let's bring this back for a second. We can see over here in the awareness and consideration stage, when people are getting to consideration, this is where email will work quite well. So, basically they've maybe gone to the website to find information about your product. So that's where SEO and search ads work well. Once they've gone to the website, maybe they've put their email in there to get a discount or get subscribed to the list. Now we have the ability to contact them directly with specific information that they were looking at before. So we've got all of this information from them in terms of what they like, what they're interested in. Now we're sending them essentially, when we think about ADA, the ADA model, the demand harvesting, we're thinking about harvesting that interest, turning that interest into conversion. So we're sending them deals, we're sending them information specific to their needs and wants. Okay, and then that's driving them to purchase. And then after purchase, now we're probably going to send them some more emails again. So service and loyalty expansion. We're sending them things like product updates, newsletters, new launches, anything that's going to help create that customer loyalty. Okay, again, just coming back to white hat practices, guys. Remember, in SEO, we talked about white hat versus black hat. White hat being good practices, black hat being bad practices. For emails, what do we think might be the white hat practices? So number one, guys, don't scrape the web. So basically that means going around to different websites and trying to find emails on websites so you can send them out to people. Essentially, platforms like Google are going to look at that and view that as spam. If it's not something that's coming from a subscriber list, it's going to create issues for that. If lots of people are unsubscribing to your emails, that's going to create a problem as well. So try not to scrape the web, guys, for emails. We want to earn our emails rather than getting them unethically. Purchasing email lists is another way to unethically get emails. That's basically companies buying and selling people's information. As we know, that's not really from a privacy perspective, it's not really that ethical. And we don't want big companies like Facebook, etc., collecting our information and then selling it off to other companies. We didn't sign up for that. We have to make sure we get that permission. Remember, guys, that comes under the anti-spam legislation. We want to incentivize people. So that's more of a white hat strategy. So we want to give them something for actually signing up to the lists. So yeah, we can see the first three there are potential black hat practices. The first two are black hat. The second two there are white hat. Okay, let's think about pop-ups. What do we think, guys? Pop-ups, good idea, bad idea? Just think about that for a second. And then I will tell you that pop-ups dramatically decrease your conversion rates. But sometimes they can be one of the main ways that you would get an email address, which also is very helpful in the future. So it's a trade-off there. We can see there's a couple of examples here, which are very, very common on different websites. We've got a sign up to our email list and get 10% off. And there's a couple of little metrics there in terms of preference. And then we've got a sign up option on Zappos there as well. But as we see here, guys, terrible for conversion. Pop-ups, when they keep popping up, very annoying for people, and often people will click away from the website. But they are really good for getting email addresses. So you've got to decide what you need. Okay, let's talk content of emails. What do we think is the best way to actually create an email for people? So number one, personalization. So when you are sending an email from a person rather than a company, that's going to personalize the message a lot more than just it coming from a corporation. People like to hear from people rather than just businesses. So make sure you personalize your messages. Personalizing the recipient is also a great idea. It gives that, again, personalized feel. If you've got people's names, try and add those into the emails. You can use, all sorts of different tags to put people's names in bulk rather than having to type them in individually. Subject lines should be around 40 to 70 characters. We don't want to make them too long, but they also have to be catchy. Our copy in the emails, up to 125 words. Again, we don't want somebody scrolling to get all the information in the email. We want to keep it short. We want to keep it catchy. We want to put links in there so we can link people to our website again. A better designed email is going to do better than something that is just copy. So guys, having some visual interest in there, some design interest or design elements in there is going to be good. We could include some images, some videos as well. It's got to be responsive, guys, so make sure it's not too bulky. If you've got a video in there that takes really long to load and the email's going to take forever to load up, people are just going to delete it right away. So make sure it's responsive. And of course, calls to action. So making sure that we are telling people what they should do for the next step. And we mentioned there, guys, be careful of images. Images that are too big can slow down our emails. It can eat up bandwidth. If they're distracting, it might take away from the message. But sometimes, like if it's for a product, for example, a good product image can actually help. You've just got to make sure you're using relevant and high-quality images. Okay, getting into our conversion funnel. We've looked at this before, guys, but this is kind of following the funnel of an email campaign from and an A/B. We'll just go back here. In an A/B test here, guys, we've got email A and email B. We can see the same amount were sent out, but we've got a bounce rate. People whose emails are no longer working, or maybe are fake emails. We can see here email B had more. So what that means, guys, in terms of strategy, is we have to go to our email B list, subscriber list, and remove any of those dead emails. Get rid of them, so we're reducing that bounce rate. Next one is our open rate. So, guys, this can often give us an indicator of how well our headline, our titles in our emails are working. So if it's a catchy title, a catchy headline, people are going to open it. If it's something that's of interest to them, they're going to open it. If they just look at it and delete it, then obviously that title was not interesting enough. The next part here, guys, is our click-through rate. So once they're in the email, are they clicking on the links in the email to go be taken to the website or the landing page that you're taking them to for that? We've mentioned this before, guys, but often click-through rate is a better indicator of a good email campaign than the conversion rate, because conversion rate is influenced by everything else that's happening on your website, everything that's happening in terms of actually clicking through. All of the things that happen before click rate are all part of your email campaign. So all of those factors will tell you whether you're creating good emails or not. But we can see as we go through, email A had a 1.2% conversion rate. Email B had a 2% conversion rate. But email A had a 10% click-through rate. So that tells us that email A was actually a better email than email B, because more people are clicking through to the website from email A, and then they're being influenced by something else once they get through there, and that's decreasing the conversion. So that tells us that once we get to this stage, our SEO needs to be really good to get a better conversion rate. Okay, just looking at some of the formulas for these KPIs, guys. So obviously, these are the things that we want to look at when we're thinking about our emails. We want to make sure that our bounce rate is low, so emails bounced divided by emails sent. We want to make sure that our open rate is high, so emails open divided by emails delivered. We want to make sure our click-through rate is high, so emails clicked divided by emails delivered. Conversion rate, obviously, we want to make sure that is high. Our average order value, when we're thinking about from emails, our conversions from emails, how much do people actually order based on that email? So what type of profit are we making from our email campaigns? That's going to be able to give us a value for each email, right? And then churn rate, obviously we want our churn rate to be low. And guys, we can look at some healthy KPIs here, some benchmarks for some of these different things. This is just on average, guys. It is going to be dependent on the industry that you're in. But in terms of our delivery of emails, 22% plus is good. Bounces, we want 2% or less. So, we can reduce our bounce rate easily by going through and just removing bad emails, right? Or old emails. So that's an easy one to fix. Unique open. So these are people opening the email for the first time. We want that to be up to potentially 30%. Our churn rate, we want that to be really, really low. So the emails that we're sending out to people, they have to be relevant to them. They have to be interesting for them. We don't want people unsubscribing from our lists, because then we lose that ability to target them. The forward rates, when it comes to e-commerce, people are probably not forwarding too many emails on. They might share something on social media, but if we've got 2 to 5%, that's good. And click-through rates and conversion, 2 to 5% as well. And again, guys, just to reiterate, CTR is the preferred metric for success with email campaigns. Okay, This comes back to our original question, the best time and day to deliver emails. And if you think to yourself right now what that might be, some people might be saying Saturday. Some people might be saying Monday. That's an answer I get often, guys, but is actually Tuesday at 10 a.m. And Tuesday is generally best all round. So if you think about it, guys, on a Saturday, Sunday, on the weekend, people are doing things. They're not on their email as much. On a Monday, people are generally getting organized for their week. They're getting set up for their work. They're sort of organizing things. They're not really looking at or thinking about purchases or shopping or anything like that. Once they've finished all that on a Monday and they're set up and their week starts, then they're a bit more conducive to getting an email and actually opening it up. So Tuesday at 10 a.m., we can see here almost 35% around 10 a.m., and that would be on a Tuesday. And anything up to sort of 3 p.m., 5 p.m. is going to be good. And people are generally logging off their devices after 8 p.m. So evening through the nighttime, guys, not great times to send. Morning around 9 to 10 is going to be a good time, or 9 to 1 essentially, is going to be a good time to send an email. Okay, let's think about optimizing our campaigns. So we are trying to get the best click-through rates. So first thing we want to do is optimize our subscription list. We want to get rid of hard bounces. So these are emails that don't exist anymore. Soft bounces are emails that are potentially no longer in use. So we want to get rid of them as well. We want to get rid of non-openers, so people who are not actually opening their emails. We can track that as well. So get rid of them as well because they're not really useful anymore. To avoid spam filters, guys, there's a few things we want to do. Don't use all caps. That is often picked up as spam. And, if you think about a platform like Gmail, if you get an email that's got all caps in the title, that's likely to be perceived as spam and sent to the spam folder. So what we want to do is avoid it going to the spam folder. So avoid all caps, guys. Avoid spammy content like, 1,000 exclamation marks or different colored text. Things that, you know what spam looks like when you see it. Lots of links in your email. Just try and keep it clean, keep it relevant, keep it interesting. Too many images to content ratio. So if there's lots and lots of images, that's going to make it look like spam. If the coding is not well done, that's going to look like spam. If there's links that don't work or tags that are missing, that's going to create problems. Again, guys, we mentioned exclamation marks there, so too many exclamation marks is pretty spammy. So, guys, when we're thinking about our email providers, like Gmail, for example, Hotmail, all of the different options there, guys, they're going to analyze your email usage. So how often you're opening emails, where you're hovering, what the reporting is. There are also set traps for spammers. So they'll create things that we call pristine emails, emails that have never been used before. And then if those emails start getting lots of emails from companies, they know that that's spam and those people are scraping those emails because they haven't signed up to any subscription lists. And then all of a sudden they're getting emails. It's like, this must be a company that's using black hat practices. And then also, guys, they'll use non-pristine emails that are defunct, so they're not used anymore. So basically, if those emails keep getting emails, we know that the companies that are sending those emails are likely spam. So there's a couple of ways that email providers look for spam there as well. Okay, this is just an activity, guys, that you could think about if you want to. But let's go on to subject lines. So subject A versus subject B, which one do we think is going to be more effective? Is going to have a higher click-through rate? It's version B, mainly, guys, because the main difference here is the emoji. People are experimenting with emojis these days. Clean, minimal use of emojis works quite well. If you've got too many emojis, it can create a problem. This one's a question versus a statement here. How much time could you save with better reporting versus new feature, advanced reporting dashboard? Question works really well, guys. So in terms of a subject line, if you can put it into a question, that's going to work well. So we've got two questions here. One is more concise than the other. The jury is out on which one's going to be better there. Both of these questions could work well. We'd have to do some A/B testing here to actually send these out and see how it worked for our audience. Okay, in terms of copy, what we actually put in our emails, we've got we are releasing new music versus hey Dan, we're releasing new music. I think, guys, we already mentioned that if it is customized to the customer, personalized, it's going to do better than if it's not personalized. Here we have try Spotify now versus start streaming music today. Question mark on this one, guys. The all caps is probably going to trigger some spam warnings. But in terms of the actual content here, this might be one that we want to send out and actually test. There's no clear winner there. Version A versus B in this last one here. Thanks from the team at Spotify. Thanks, Andrew from Spotify. Guys, again, it's personalized from an actual person. That gives that personal touch. That makes people feel like they're not just getting an email from a bot. They're getting an email from somebody specific. Here's a couple of different images. We've got a video. This one's got an animated video in it. This one's just got images. Now, we've got a video here, but I think the issue here is that this video is distracting. So essentially, it's distracting from the other information we've got in there. Videos and images, guys, together, probably not going to work very well. One's going to distract from the other. So just these images are going to be a bit cleaner here than having both things. You could just have a video at the bottom of your email. But right now, as you go through it, you're going to get distracted by this. You're going to miss all of this other information, where this one's a lot cleaner. Okay, that's all for week 9, guys. Make sure that you are completing round 2 of the simulation. And I'll be putting a video out about ASO1 pretty shortly, just to have a look at people's answers or people's submissions. And then we'll look at ASO2 as well this week. So stand by for that.